This is some AI art I generated for a story called Totah-The Legacy Model. Dodo is a term we use for any of our elders, and it could apply to either a male or female. And and there are people in the reserve who will use the term Dodo for both, for either their grandmother or their grandfather. In this case, Dida is female, but I have it that this is about a android that follows the great law instead of the three laws of robotics because she's indigenous. She was created as a repository of indigenous knowledge from the last speaker of Mohawk, fluent speaker of Mohawk, and a mind map was made of the last speaker's memories, and it created Dida, and basically she's a beloved icon among her people, and she looks like an indigenous elder instead of trying to look like a young person because that isn't. Well, she doesn't just think in terms of function, but that is her function, to preserve indigenous knowledge, the indigenous language, and she looks like what the indigenous elder looked like when they were mind mapped to create her programming. And here I have her, like I got this AI generated art, and this is kind of interesting. It could look like a future version of an old lady, and it's a better picture than I was able to find from those stock photo sites because it's hard to find any stock photos of old people there, and especially if you want to find a sci-fi story about them. But it's like, for the sake of my story, even though it was an unusual choice, and I didn't make her look like a beautiful young woman, that she has reasons for wanting to appear like an indigenous elder, because basically that is her function, to preserve the language, this indigenous language. Here she is, kind of dressed up in an indigenous theme, but still futuristic outfit. And this was my attempt to have her more indigenous clothing. It was more contemporary, but it doesn't quite fit. Not unless it doesn't quite fit with what I had in mind. Not unless she's going to a powwow where you'd have this kind of really bright beadwork going on. And this is another version where this is an outright powwow outfit that she'd probably be interested in, because I figure that once a few times she might have attended a powwow for the Language Commission. And so that's why I generated with AI art for my the legacy model. The 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 URL for it is in my caption there, if you're interested in checking it out.